Pi Network just launched two massive features today that nobody saw coming. And if you're about to give up on your Pi, wait. I'm talking about real staking with your actual Pi tokens and an AI app builder that could change everything. Yes, you can finally do something with your Pi instead of just holding it. Look, I know you're tired of empty promises. You've been mining for years while watching other coins moon. But what happened on Pi 2 Day today is different. These aren't promises anymore, they're live features you can use right now. I'm going to break down exactly what these updates mean for your Pi bag, and whether this changes the game or if it's just more hype. Before we dive in, follow my Telegram and Facebook links in the description, because I'm dropping exclusive Pi analysis there that you won't find anywhere else. Now, let's get into what actually happened today. Real quick, if you're still holding Pi despite all the doubts, hit that like button so I know you're out there. And subscribe if you want honest Pi Network coverage without the nonsense, because there's a lot of fake news floating around about these updates. Okay, so here's what Pi Network announced today. First thing, they launched something called Pi App Studio. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking another useless feature, let me explain what this actually does. Basically, Pi App Studio lets regular people like you and me create apps for the Pi ecosystem without knowing how to code. I know, we've heard promises like this before from other projects, but here's the thing that caught my attention. They're not just throwing AI buzzwords around, they actually identified 3 real problems that most people don't even think about. First problem, there's this huge gap between AI technology and actually using it for something useful. Second, nobody really knows what happens to regular jobs when AI takes over everything. And third, if AI creates tons of value, how do we make sure regular people actually benefit from it instead of just tech companies? Now, Pi's solution might work or it might not, but at least they're thinking about real issues instead of just saying blockchain good moon soon. The Pi App Studio has what they call guided workflows, meaning it supposedly walks you through building an app step by step. With 13 million people who've already moved their Pi to mainnet, there's potentially a huge user base for whatever gets built. Here's the second big announcement, and this one's actually pretty interesting. They launched something called Ecosystem Directory Staking today. You can access it through the Pi browser right now. What this means is you can finally do something with your Pi tokens besides just hold them. You can stake your actual mainnet Pi to support different apps and businesses in the Pi ecosystem. When you stake Pi on an app, it boosts that app's visibility and ranking. Now look, I'm not gonna lie to you. This isn't revolutionary stuff. Other blockchains have had staking for years, but for Pi Network this is actually a big deal, because it's the first time your Pi tokens have a real use case beyond just existing. Think about it this way. If you're a business trying to get noticed in the Pi ecosystem, you need people to stake Pi on your app. If you're a developer, you need staking support to get visibility. This creates actual demand for Pi tokens, which theoretically should be good for price. But we'll talk about price in a minute because it's not that simple. The thing I like about this is it's not just theoretical anymore. You can literally go into your Pi browser right now and start staking if you want to. It's real, it's working, and it's available today. Alright, let's address what everyone's really thinking about. Pi is trading around 53 to 56 cents right now, and yeah, it actually dropped about 5% today, even with these big announcements. I can practically hear some of you saying, see, nothing matters, Pi is still trash. But hold on a second, this is actually pretty normal in crypto. Big announcements often see immediate sell-offs because traders do this thing called buy the rumor, sell the news. Plus, a lot of Pi holders aren't experienced crypto traders. They're regular people who might not even know these features launched yet. Here's what I think is happening. The people who understand these updates are probably accumulating while casual holders might be selling out of frustration. Some analysts are predicting Pi could drop to around 41 cents by late July, but those predictions were made before today's announcements. I'm not going to tell you Pi is definitely going to moon now. Nobody knows that. But I will say these features fundamentally change what Pi Network actually is. It's not just a mining app anymore. It's becoming a platform where people can build stuff and where tokens have actual utility. Look, I'm going to be honest with you about what I think these updates mean. Pi Network just solved 2 of their biggest problems. They gave Pi tokens a real use case with staking, and they gave regular people a way to build things in the ecosystem with the AI App Studio. But here's the reality check. Having tools doesn't guarantee success. The question is whether people will actually use them. Will developers build good apps? Will businesses stake significant amounts of Pi? Will users actually care about the apps that get built? What I find interesting is that Pi Network is taking a different approach than most crypto projects. Instead of trying to attract crypto whales and institutional investors, they're focusing on making it easy for regular people to participate. That could be genius, or it could be a mistake. Time will tell. One thing I'll say is this: if you've been holding Pi for years waiting for it to do something, well, now it's doing something. Whether that something is valuable enough to justify the wait, that's entirely up to you. But here's my honest advice on what to do with this information. If you haven't moved your Pi to mainnet yet, it's time to seriously consider it. The new staking feature only works with mainnet Pi, and by staying on the sidelines, you're missing out on what could be the beginning of real utility for your tokens. This isn't just about holding anymore, it's about participating in something that's finally starting to take shape. The staking feature only works with mainnet Pi, so you're missing out if you haven't migrated. Second, don't make any major financial decisions based on today's announcements alone. These are positive developments, but Pi Network still has a long way to go before it proves itself as a successful blockchain project. Third, if you're curious about the new features, go check them out. Download the Pi browser, take a look at the staking interface, and maybe even try building something simple with the AI App Studio. You don't need to be a tech expert to explore these new tools. The best way to figure out if any of this holds real value is to get hands-on and see it for yourself. And honestly, if you've been holding Pi all this time, these updates should give you at least a little hope. It shows the team isn't just sitting around, they're actually trying to build something with substance. So, that's my honest take on Pi Network's Pi 2-day announcements. Two new features that could either be game changers or just fizzle out. We won't know until the community starts using them. But one thing is clear: Pi Network feels different today. It's not just a passive mining app anymore, it's starting to look like a real platform where your tokens might actually do something. Whether that potential turns into long-term value, that's the part we'll all have to wait and see. It's becoming a platform with real functionality. Whether that's enough to justify your investment, that's something only you can decide. If this breakdown helped you understand what's actually happening with Pi Network, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what you think about these new features. Are you excited? Skeptical? Planning to try them out? Don't forget to subscribe for more honest Pi Network coverage, and follow my Telegram and Facebook pages for deeper analysis and updates. I promise to keep giving you the real story, not the hype. Pi Network might finally be growing up. Whether it grows into something valuable, well, that's what we're all here to find out together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.